Hi, this is Jared from the G2 Gallery, and today we're interviewing one of our artists, Tatiana Botton, and she's here to talk to us about her life in photography, but also her life in a lot of other creative endeavors as well. We worked in journalism for a while?
I did. I started as a writer, and I got my first experience with the Daily Bruin, the paper at UCLA. And with that experience, I sort of took it overseas, where I'm from, to Barcelona in Spain. And I got a bunch of articles published in foreign magazines and newspapers. And that led me to actually discover photography.
So you grew up in Barcelona?
That is correct.
And then you came to the US?
I came to the US to actually do a journalism course at UCLA. Okay. And that's what led me to writing, which I thought really was my passion until I discovered photography, and I really fell in love.
So what were some of the things that you were writing at that time?
You know, I did a lot of human interest stories. And I was sort of at UCLA at the time where the internet boom was starting. And I got a lot of stories written about, you know, the beginning of the internet and how computers could be used for disabled, and a little bit of multi-social and cultural issues going on at the campus. Yeah.
You studied film as well, right?
I did some film studies in Spain, not a proper film education, but some additional courses on film as well.
So your film started before the journalism, right?
Yes, but it wasn't a proper film studies as far as technical. It was more like a film critique, which they're really big in Europe about doing all that film reviewing and critiquing more than practical, like they do here at the university level.
Is that like that? So the education, if you're going into film, it's a lot of critical analysis.
It was sort of critical analysis of frames and images and composition, and I guess that helped. You know,
that had to lead to photography.
You know, I always wanted to learn photography. I remember as a kid, I had a book and at home how to use the f-stops, and I was dreading using it and opening it and learning how that worked. And then I had some friends who were in film studies at UCLA, and you know, I sort of help out. And somebody had a manual camera, and I literally said, "You have 5 minutes to show me." And the guy's a cinematographer from Italy, and he was studying and working here in LA. And he showed me how to use the manual camera. He showed me the f-stop. He showed me the aperture. He showed me all the basic things in 5 minutes, and I'm like, oh my god, I got it, you know. And I literally went out and I bought the same Canon manual camera and went around Venice Beach, and I was spending my days shooting film. And I said, you know, let's take some lessons about this, because I'm having a lot of fun doing this, but I don't really know what I'm doing. I mean, I'm coming up with good images, but I should really learn some of the techniques and take some classes. And then that's sort of what got me out of writing and into taking photography classes and really immerse in photography. And that was it for me. It was like a revelation. You know, the fact that I could understand all the technical things related to the manual camera in 5 minutes when I had this book on my shelf that I was, you know, trying to read, and I'm like, I'm not understanding anything.
Did you find yourself, when you were trying to write these stories, did you find yourself wanting to go another level visually, or just like in your descriptions? Were you a very descriptive person?
You know, I was descriptive, but I think what happened is, I guess I was a little jealous of the photographers, because, you know, they had the same fun as I had doing the stories, but then I was stuck in a room writing all these things, and they captured that thing in one instant, and they were done, and they got a great job. And it's like, I don't know what I'm doing writing these stories. I mean, this is a lot more fun. Why I'm not doing that? And I can do what they're doing. So it's a very interesting story, actually. I was doing a photojournalism class at UCLA, because that seemed to be what I should be doing, photojournalism. I came from journalism, so it seems like it made more sense. So I took this class, and it was Veterans Day, and I think it was 1998 at the time. And I went out, we had an assignment, photograph something related to Veterans Day. And of course, I'm around UCLA, so I go to the Veterans Memorial Park next door. And I'm walking around with the camera, taking pictures of things, and nothing really catching my eye or inspiring me to actually to get a great image. I was just getting images, which are fine, you know. And then I'm just walking around, and then this car stops next to me and calls me and says, hey, are you a photographer? And I say, yes. This old man comes out of his car, full on dressed with his veteran outfit, pulls out his trumpet, and out there, right in the middle of next to where the car was parked, starts playing the trumpet. And I promise, right behind him was the American flag, and the wind came in and blew the American flag out. And I took the camera and I shot, 7 or 8 frames. That's what I had left in the roll when we were talking about 36 frames roll, or 34, I don't remember anymore. But I took my camera and I shot those last frames. And in the last frame, the flag was perfect, and I tilted the camera at an angle, so he was actually crooked, but the flag was perfect and the light was perfect. And I was like, oh my God, this is incredible, and I'm like super amazed. Well, another car stops right behind, and this woman with like 4 cameras comes out and starts snapping in front of me. Now, I don't have any more film at that moment, I'm done, and I think I got what I wanted. But she starts snapping. Then super excited, gives the car to the guy. The guy, thank you. Looks at me, says, are you a student? And I say yes. And she opens her trunk, gives me a bag of like 15 rolls of film. It's like, here, I'm from the LA Times, and here's some films for you. And I'm like, great, okay. The next day, the paper, the LA Times, comes out, and the photo she took of the guy playing the trumpet is on the cover of the LA Times. And I can probably retrieve that picture out of the files, but if you compare the picture I took, which is with him crooked and the flag perfect, and hers, there's no comparison. Mine is 1,000 times better. And that was like a revelation for me as a student. I mean, I learned a few things. I learned how competitive this business is, and I also learned that I did have some talent. I mean, I was just a student going around, and it was a coincidence that the guy stopped me and I took the picture, and the flag blew at that time. And it's like, yes, she probably had a lot more experience, but I was there at the right time, and it was like that instant. And it only happens, it happens, and you just have to be prepared for it.
Well, thank you so much for coming in.
I hope this was good.
Oh yes, it's great. Plenty of information. Thank you so much for coming in, and I really appreciate you telling us a little bit about your past and how you got to this point.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. This is Jared from the G2 Gallery. We'll have more podcasts coming to you. Thank you. All thoughts and opinions expressed in this interview were that of the interviewee and not of the G2 Gallery.